How's it going, guys? TFF back here doing a quick studs and duds after this week's performances. Starting off with the duds from the New York Jets, Zach Wilson. He played in London against the Atlanta Falcons, who don't have a great defense in the slightest. Threw for 192 yards, 0 touchdown passes, and an interception. Never looked confident in the game. Underthrew a few bubble passes. He does not look like the quarterback who's confident at the moment. The Jets are struggling, but I thought Zach Wilson would do a little bit better than he is. Only have one win on the season, but that was a pretty poor performance from Zach Wilson overall. The second dud this week is DJ Moore. He did lead the Panthers in receiving, which is good. However, he was nothing like his self earlier this season. 5 receptions for 42 yards is pretty much nothing for DJ Moore, who's been absolutely electric this season. Sam Darnold, on the whole, did not have a great game, throwing for 177 yards and 1 touchdown pass, so he could be on the list of duds with 3 interceptions. But I do think that DJ Moore had to give him a little bit more options. He was trying to kind of get covered by Slay, and Slay had an absolute fantastic game. And I do expect a lot more out of DJ Moore this season, considering he's the number one receiver on that team and he's really the only real passing option after Robbie Anderson is having quite a tough start to the season. And my last dud of the week is a little bit of a surprise. That's Noah Fant. 3 receptions for 20 yards. That's pretty much all he did the whole game in a loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I thought that Noah Fant wasn't really giving Teddy much of an option underneath. He wasn't playing his best football. And Teddy did do pretty well, almost 300 yards, 2 touchdown passes, so it wasn't really his fault. But I didn't think Fant was getting involved enough. I thought that if he really wanted to, I think he could break a little bit harder on those routes. It just didn't look like a game that Noah Fant, like the normal Noah Fant that I would expect. I do think he's a very, very good tight end, maybe top 10 in the league, and he definitely has lots of upside. This was just not one of his best performances this week and I do think that he should be looking to bounce back in the next week. On to the studs of the week. We got at number 3, we got Davante Adams. Davante Adams got 16 looks during the game. It was an overtime throw against the Bengals. He caught 11 of them and threw for 1 touchdown pass. Caught 1 touchdown. That's overall a fantastic, fantastic line. He was getting involved early and often. He was Aaron Rodgers' number one target. Time in and time out, he was clutch. Made a few deep passes. And obviously scored a touchdown. He looked like his old self. That first game was really an anomaly for not only Adams but the whole Packers offense, and now they're firing on all cylinders and looking like a really, really good team. Adams had an awesome game. I would not expect any different going forward. He's pretty much the cream of the crop as it comes to receiver, maybe the best in the league. Fantasy-wise, he's fantastic as well, and I do think he was a real stud this week. The other stud this week, number 2 of 3, is Robert Woods. After Cooper Kupp was really the main focal point of the passing offense for the Rams, Robert Woods was kind of being underused. He came out and said that he had a good discussion with Coach Sean McVay and that they would get him more involved in the offense, and he did that very much so. Targeted 14 times, caught 12 balls for 150 yards, and was really a problem for the Seattle defense all day long. He made some nice underneath passes while Cooper Kupp went deep, and I think that's how to best utilize that offense. Let Robert Woods eat underneath while Cooper Kupp is more in that medium to deep route. In that deep section, I think that way you're getting the most out of both players because Robert Woods is a very, very, very solid player. As a Bills fan, I was really sad to see him go when he left a few years ago. He wasn't the greatest for the Bills, but he was definitely good, and he really showed out the last few seasons on the Rams. I thought he was a fantastic player, and he was really getting underused. And so I was happy to see that he finally had his breakout game. I do think that we should expect more of this in the future because when the ball was spread around, we saw how much of a problem this LA Rams offense can be, captained by maybe MVP Matthew Stafford. And my biggest stud of the week, this shouldn't be a surprise, but it's Lamar Jackson. He did fumble, yes, in the red zone, and that kind of cost his team. However, after that, he just put on a clinic. He threw 37 complete passes for 43, fantastic. 442 yards, amazing. 4 touchdown passes. One of those was a deep bomb to Hollywood Brown, and he was really dictating the game there. I thought Indianapolis was running away with it, and they were easily going to win the game. Lamar Jackson came in, did his job, did a fantastic job on the ground, through the air, put his team in a position to win, and he dominated the game. I think that after those early turnovers, Lamar Jackson was the best player of this week. And I think that if he can produce something similar to that, the Ravens will be looking a lot better going forward. I really like the Bengals offense, but if Lamar Jackson's looking like this every week, like I said, they're going to be a dangerous team. I think that was very accurate, which was surprising to me. I'm still not a huge believer in his accuracy, but he's really showed out. And I think the most important part was 2 for 2 on 2 point conversions, as that really kept the game alive in multiple situations. Without those, it was going to be tough. And that last one to Mark Andrews was like a nice little RPO, stepped up in the pocket and threw a nice little pass to Andrews. Overall, I think he was the biggest stud of the week and probably the best player this week. Thank you guys so much. TFF out, like and subscribe.